evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session of NutriLIV 360. I am your host, Ruchita, and today we are going to discuss carbs. You all understand that carbs are essential. However, what is the right amount of carb? What is the essence of GI and GL in carb? And what is the role of fiber for our gut? To understand all this and so much more, we're going to have today's discussion with a group of experts who've walked the talk. To start the session, it is my honor and privilege to invite Farooq Tarapur. He, ladies and gentlemen, is an Olympian, two-time world champion in sailing, and has had an active sporting career of 40 years. He's won innumerable awards, including the Chhatrapati Shivaji Award and the Arjuna Award. But most importantly, he's a mentor to each and every one of us on this group with a mission, Har Ghar Healthy, Har Ghar Medicine Free. Let's listen to him very, very carefully. Over to you, Farooq.
Thank you, Ruchita. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this exciting Monday session. You know, carbs is one of the macronutrients which is highly misunderstood. There's a lot of talk on social media about reducing carbs now because people are trying to lose weight. And then somebody will say, I'm on a zero carb diet. I can assure you one thing on this community, that all of these extreme measures are never ever good for good health. Just like other macronutrients, you also need carbs. But if I were to, say, explain to this in just one sentence, and I would say, have that much carbs that you need depending upon your activity. Because carbs is something that gets converted to instant energy. So like if you are in sports and you need a lot of energy, then you need to eat a lot of carbs before you start expanding that energy. And if you're like doing office work, so you need lesser carbs. Also, another rule of the thumb that you should apply is more carbs during lunch and breakfast, and really less carbs during dinner. The worst thing is to have a lot of carbs at dinner, have a late night dinner, and go to sleep. So even if you had little carbs for dinner, and if you had your dinner early, say by 6:30 or so, and if you'd gone out for a little bit of a walk or a little bit of exercise, move around a little bit, it will really be helpful for your overall health. It will not only help you in your digestion, but it will also help you keep your energy is good. It will help you keep your gut healthy. And today, so much has been talked about gut health. Things that previously were never even connected. People thought that Alzheimer's and dementia all are part of a brain disease. But actually, there's a lot of research that is coming out which says that all this basically started with the gut. So it's extremely important to ensure that you maintain a healthy gut. And when you put that food on the plate, ask yourself a question that is this going to increase my good bacteria or is this going to increase my bad bacteria? We really encourage you on this community to look at your food, eat your food as medicine. Otherwise, you'll end up eating medicine as food. So you're very lucky today. You're going to be listening from somebody who, after joining this community, made a huge transformation in her overall health. She lost, tons of weight. Unbelievable if you see her before and after pictures, and really got a lot of confidence back. And generally, she loves saying, that if I could do it, you could do it too. So listen to Deepika very carefully, because what she has to say will have a significant impact, not only on your health, but the health of your friends, family around you. Over to you, Deepika.
Thank you so much, Farooq. Good evening, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this session once again. Very, very happy to be here with all of you. Before I proceed further, just a small update. Ruchita, as I've already updated her. In case there is a little bit of disconnection because there's a technical snag, the light is coming and going. You'll have to bear in between for 2 minutes, but I will be back online as soon as the Wi-Fi is up. And now, without wasting any further time, Ruchita and Farooq, they have already set the pace for the evening. I am extremely passionate about talking anything with respect to health now more than ever. I don't know about you, but in the last couple of months, the kind of things I have heard in my near and dear and ones, it is a very, very scary wake up call for all of us. We don't need to be scared, but we need to be aware, and we need to be very sure of the choices we make, the decisions we take, because whatever you do in your everyday routine, be it going to office, in your workout routines, not workout routines, your eating habits, sleeping habit, gadget using habit, trust me, each one of them is going to impact your life, your health in the next couple of years. So be aware, be conscious of what you choices you are making. Be conscious of the fact that when you don't make a choice to be healthy, that is also a choice. So quickly, we'll delve into today's topic. My favorite, once again, only because I myself was completely delusioned as far as this concept was concerned. And I always felt, oh, carbs is something which is my biggest enemy, and carbs is something that I should not be having. Just hold on. I think I'm unable to share my screen. Ruchita, could you just check if I have the rights?
Yes, Deepika.
1 second.
I've just
Why am I not able to? Hold on. Just give me a second, guys. 1 second. I am not seeing this. We still live in a world, ladies and gentlemen, where talking face to face and a physical meeting is any day better than the technical, this online one. Ruchita, by any chance, can you share the presentation? Would you have that with you? Because I'm unable to do so from my end. Let me just give it one more shot. Hold on. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Good. Carbohydrates and dietary fiber. Because I didn't know much is the reason why I was treating carbs as my biggest enemy. Sorry, Ruchita, I'll just bother you once more. Are you able to see the whole screen or the participant list or something?
Yes. Yeah.
So I need to take care of that, right? Hold on.
No, we can see the whole screen.
Perfect.
Acha,
Great.
with the screen only, don't worry.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Veda. Thank you. Let's delve in. What are carbs? Why are they important? What kind of carb is good for you? What kind of carb may not be so good for you in large quantities? What is the effect of nutrients that we consume in our food on our blood glucose over time? Simple तीन चीजें हैं. We've heard about carbohydrates, proteins, and fats right from the day we started going to school. This is a typical representation when we say that include more protein in your diet, include little amount of fat. Why not too much of carbohydrates? Because carbohydrates जब आप consume करते हो, it results in a sudden spike of sugar in your body, and there is a sudden rise and there is a sudden crash. As a result, when you eat a lot of carb rich diet, you start feeling hunger pangs, hungry, and cravings far more faster and earlier vis-a-vis when you have a protein rich diet. Kyun? Because protein, it takes a long time to get broken down, digested, metabolized in your body. Hence, it gives you a satiety for a longer period of time. Also, it delays the release of sugar in your bloodstream. So there is a slow rise and there is a slow fall. So that quick sudden hunger pangs are completely taken care of when you take a protein rich diet. So yes, simple terms में, the more carbs you have, जितना भी आप खाएंगे बहुत जल्दी get digested, and very soon you will want to eat again. So you will be frequently eating, adding to a lot of empty calories quickly. I'll give you a very quick example. One of the quickest ways to understand how carbs quickly make you feel hungry. How many of us, on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis or very often, we grab a pack of chips or some kind of nachos, and we finish the whole pack, and after that we also go ahead and have a lunch or dinner, realizing कि वो तो बहुत light था. What you need to understand is that they are empty calories, they are simple carbs, they are very high in sodium and those kind of contents. They give you a sudden spike. They feel much lighter when you eat them, but when you actually break down, you're probably in a small pack consuming roughly about 500 to 550 calories. If you have a full meal plate which has protein, which has fiber, which has, dal, roti, sabzi, chapati, dahi, that also may not contribute to 550 plus calories, but will keep you fuller for longer, will have lot more nutrient dense components in it vis-a-vis chips. So it feels light at that point of time because there's a sudden sugar rise, spike hota hai, decline hota hai, bhook lagti hai, and you end up eating more. So avoid that. Carbs, what are carbs actually? They are the energy source for your body. Simple organic compounds हैं made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. आपकी एनर्जी आपकी बॉडी का एनर्जी स्टोरेज है मैकेनिज्म है योर बॉडी delves into that to gain a lot of energy for your day to day activity. They are essential nutrients based.
Bear with us for a moment, folks. Deepika will come back.
I'm audible.
Yes, Deepika, we can hear you.
Yes, you are.
Thank you, Farooq. Thanks. Thank you, everybody. Now, what I was saying was, what are carbohydrates? Simple compounds made up of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. आपकी बॉडी का एनर्जी सोर्स होते हैं फॉर योर डे टू डे एक्टिविटी ऑल दैट योर बॉडी इज डूइंग इट एक्चुअली गेट्स इनटू द the carbs that you consume draw the energy and that's how you perform. They basically comprise of sugar, fiber, and starches. How does it, what is the entire mechanism through which it happens? When you consume a carb rich diet, the simple sugars are quickly broken down and they enter your bloodstream. Now, if your pancreas is rock solid, if the insulin is, getting released, it quickly takes that energy source, takes that sugar, it acts as a rider, carries that sugar onto it and takes it to the cells in your body and gives them energy to do day-to-day activity. In simple layman terms, when the insulin does not get released in your body when you're consuming a good, carb rich food or any food for that matter, that's when these simple sugars continue to flow in your bloodstream and they don't reach the final destination, which is the cells, the cells in your body. They do not get that energy. And that's why we say कि आपका blood sugar rise हो गया because it continues to flow in the bloodstream through and through, not reaching its final destination. Now, carbs कितनी तरह के होते हैं? There are two types of carbs. You have simple carbs and complex carbs. But you know what is the strange thing? The simple carbs genuinely have a lot of complicated effects in your body if you are consuming them in a very high ratio. Whereas the complex carbs, they actually go ahead and simplify your digestion, your gut, and so on and so forth. Simple carbs hote hain, which are your sugars, all the bakery items and stuff like that you consume, and of course, sugar-rich items. Complex carbs hote hain, which are a combination of starches and fiber. How do these complex carbs help in different aspects of your well-being and your healthy body? They significantly impact and help and help you in your weight management. Somebody like me who was completely off carbs a couple of years ago thinking they are my biggest enemy, when you don't eat the right amount of and the right kind of carbs, you may end up losing a lot of muscle in your body and not fat, which is the biggest myth people believe. If they start losing weight, they feel that they're actually going in for a fat loss. Initially, it's your water loss, the excessive buildup of water in your body, and thereafter, it leads to your muscular loss, which is a big, big problem in the years to come. So It helps in weight management the right way. It increases your metabolic activity. It improves your metabolic health. Your body consumes more calories. It burns more calories to do the same amount of work. It definitely helps maintain your blood sugar levels, because when you eat a good complex carbs rich diet, the sugar spike that we spoke about earlier, that happens very slowly. The crash does not happen immediately. So it is a very gradual process that's taken care of. And yes, it improves your heart health. It supports your heart health. It gives all the required nutrients for a healthy heart for your daily living. Okay. Now, current scenario in India is our plates, no matter how healthy we feel we are eating, it's very, very carb intensive meals that we have. What is the recommendation? The recommendation is 1/4 of the calorie intake should come from whole grains. But average Indian household, you pick up any of them, it's about 47% of their calories, they come from whole grains, which is very, very high. The share of cereal is about 70% in rural areas. Processed food accounts for 10% of the average calorie intake, very, very alarmingly high. Most of these processed food, in terms of non-veg, in terms of even, your processed and packaged foods, they are a straight recipe for bad health, ill health, and, they can completely tipsy turvy your good health if that's what you're wanting to gain in the years to come. Urban households and highest income groups consume 30% of their calories from processed foods. It took most of us a long time to understand the damage ultra processed and packaged foods do in our daily life. But the sooner you realize, the lesser you consume. I mean, the best ways it should not come into your household, because if it's there, it's going to be consumed at some point of time or the other. So if it's not there, the probability of you actually going to the market when you need it and consuming it is much, much lesser. So you need to manage your inventory, plan your inventory very well if you're wanting to get on a healthy, wealthy journey for yourself. Now, this is a comparison between complex carbs and simple carbs. Since we've already told you that simple carbs are a little more, not so good for you. So we understand simple carbs are made of short chain sugar molecules. Complex are made of long chain sugar molecules. Because complex carb take time to digest, hence the sugar spike and crash is slower. Whereas in simple carbs, it's quick rise and quick fall. Blood sugar increases slowly when you consume complex carbs. It increases rapidly in simple carbs. Because this entire process is very slow and delayed, hence it keeps you fuller and well satiated for much longer. Whereas in simple carbs, you feel hungry much sooner than that. Definitely, complex carbs are less processed. Simple carbs are much more processed, ultra processed. Complex carbs are very, very rich in dietary fiber. So, amongst the other, points that I just covered, they will also ensure keeping your gut and your bowels clean thereafter. Simple carbs are very low in dietary fiber. Complex carbs boost your performance. They increase your metabolic rate. They are higher in antioxidants, very, very nutrient dense. Whereas complex carbs are, they lower your performance. You feel tired after eating a very simple carb-rich diet. They are very low in antioxidants. The example of complex carbs are your carrots, whole grains, bananas, oats, brown rice. Simple carbs are your soda, your bakery items, your fruit juices, etc. Refrain from them if you really want to stay healthy for a longer period of time. Now, moving from carbs to a concept called glycemic index and glycemic load. For somebody like me, my mom has been a diabetic for almost 25 years now. And I remember countless events where we would say, ये मत खाओ, इसका glycemic index बहुत high है, ये मत खाइए, इसका glycemic index बहुत high है. Up until, say, about 2 to 3 years back, where we realized and we were trained and we were educated on the fact that it is one thing to say that glycemic index of a particular food item is high. It is another thing to say that the glycemic load of the same food item is way different in most cases than the glycemic index. क्या होता है glycemic index versus glycemic load? What you see on your screen is just an example of the simple fruit called watermelon, which is consumed extensively in India, where its glycemic index is as high as 80, the glycemic load is just 5. what is the difference between glycemic index and glycemic load? Glycemic index basically is the measurement ke how much your blood sugar rises when you consume that food item. Could be a mango, could be a watermelon, could be a slice of bread, could be a chocolate, etc., etc. Whereas glycemic load is the quality of that carbohydrate that you are consuming, that how slowly it increases. What is the quality of that carbohydrate in that food? It gives you an accurate assessment the impact that carbohydrates has on your blood sugar levels compared to glycemic index. Now, a lot of food items, we'll just study that chart a little in detail. A low GI is considered when it is between 0 to 55, but a low GL, which is glycemic load, if it's anything between 1 to 10, that food is quite safe for you to have. Medium glycemic load is between 11 to 19. Glycemic index is about 56 to 69. A high glycemic index is 70 or higher, and a high glycemic load is when it is 20 or higher. Now let's have a look at, so this is a pictorial representation. When we say a low glycemic index, has a slow release of, spike, which results in a low spike of blood sugar when you consume it. It's like dhire dhire, quietly, very at a very slow pace. Vis-a-vis, when you have a high glycemic load food item, there is a sudden burst of, sugar spike in your body. So this is just a pictorial representation for a better understanding. This is a very, very interesting slide. You can do it for as many number of food items that you consume. There is a lot of data available. But just to give you an idea on some of the basic, very commonly consumed items in our day-to-day households, white rice, glycemic index 73, glycemic load only 17. How many of us refrain, who are diabetics, refrain from having white rice? Talking about a white bread, the most common snack I've seen in Indian households, including mine till a while ago. While the glycemic index is 71, the glycemic load is 10. And you can further improve the impact that it has in the combinations that you have this with. So that's very important to understand. You can actually make it far more less harmful for your body if you're having the right combination of food along with a slice of bread. But watermelon, we've already spoken. Potato, if it's baked, it's 85 glycemic index. The glycemic load is just 26. Apple, glycemic index is 39. Glycemic load is just 6. So on and so forth. You can take a screenshot of this particular slide and also prepare a chart like this for your basic day-to-day food items that you consume. You initially might have to, refer to it more often, probably daily, but more or less when you do it for about 3 to 4 weeks, you will understand what food items you're having and the impact of that on your on your blood sugar levels. What we strongly recommend, because most of the people that I know, people love having rice. There are very few chapati and roti lovers. We would strongly recommend the BFAC low GI rice because its glycemic index is also low. It is less harmful. The impact that we are talking about, a high sugar rich or simple carb rich food, it will take care of that. There'll be a slow spike. There's a long satiety. It is fiber rich, so it will help get digested better. So you can speak to the person who's invited you here if you are here and new for the first time. For those of us who've been on this program, swear by this rice particularly. Now, how do carbs help you set your daily body clock? If you wake up in the morning and you're tired and you're sapped out and you're fatigued, and you are in that state that today I can't go to work, how much efficiency would you have throughout the day? Vis-a-vis, when you wake up in the morning, if you had a good night's sleep, when will you have a good night's sleep? If you've had the right amount of, the right quantity of, right portion, and the right combination of food, and at the right time. So if you've got a good night's sleep, that's when you wake up well rested in the morning. It'll improve your work efficiency. You will feel much less sleepier. Your stress hormones will be suppressed, and it'll have reduced effects of the workload on your body of the previous day. Your insulin sensitivity will be improved significantly. The satiety factor is much higher, that we also spoke about earlier, when you're having a protein rich and a complex carb rich diet along with fiber. Definitely, it helps you control calories because if you are not eating in between meals, if you're not binging too much, it'll help you control your calorie intake and, of course, improve fat oxidation for a very good metabolic health. It is very good for your memory performance. You have improved memory. Your cognition is much better. Your alertness, response time to situations is far better when you're having a complex carb rich diet. So work on that. Um, for women and men, we have a depiction here. Men who have a sedentary lifestyle should probably restrict their dietary fiber to about 30 grams a day. For moderate lifestyle, about 40. For heavy, 50. For women, again, it's 25, 30, and 40. Why is fiber so important for us? What is the role of fiber in our body? Technically, there are two types of fibers. We have soluble and insoluble. The names are super clear to you. Soluble is the one which gets dissolved in water. Insoluble is the one which does not dissolve in water. Soluble promotes satiety. It helps lower your cholesterol. आपके gut flora and fauna को improve करता है. Blood sugar spike को improve करता है. It's found in food items like apple, beans, nuts, oatmeal, sweet potatoes, etc. It helps move your, the gut motility. The food moves at the pace. It helps move food through the gut just at the right pace, and it feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut microbiome. The insoluble one supports your intestinal health. It is found in whole grains, greens, quinoa, brown rice, and seeds. And it creates a bulk in your stool. So people oftentimes complain of constipation, irritable bowel syndrome. They don't have their gut, their system getting cleared every single day. And it strongly supports your bowel health by creating that bulk. Now, I'll give you a simple example. How many times growing up, we've heard of this product which is called drain cleaner, which most of our moms and now today we as housewives and lady of the house, we use for the drains in our kitchen sinks and our, bathrooms, etc. Technically, fiber is a drain cleaner for your internal drains. It will create the bulk. It will, along with it, take all the toxins and the food items with it. It will ensure that they move at the right pace in your gut so that your gut and body remains neat and clean. So this is the role of fiber. The more fiber you include, it will significantly also help you in your weight management. Essentially, when we are talking about having a protein-rich diet, if you have enough fiber along with it, it will help digest and absorb protein much better in your body. Now, the fiber, what we promote and we have and we strongly recommend, it has resistant maltodextrin. It promotes bifidobacterium in your body, gives you satiety for a longer period of time. You feel fuller. It is very, very beneficial in managing your blood glucose in the body and also maintaining a healthy lipid profile. It has inulin, which has a prebiotic effect. आपके गट में गुड बैक्टीरिया बेनिफिशियल बैक्टीरिया के ग्रोथ को प्रमोट करता है सपोर्ट करता है it also assists in nutrient absorption. Now it is one thing to say that I eat a good nutritious meal all 3 meals a day, but it is another thing to say that your body, is it capable enough to absorb the nutrients from the food that you're eating? Because if it's not absorbing the nutrients, it's absolute a waste. So it's very important for your body to also absorb the nutrition from the food that you eat. And inulin has this tendency or the characteristic to absorb that nutrients from the food that you eat. It produces short chain fatty acids upon fermentation, again provides satiety. And also, like maltodextrin, it helps in your blood sugar and lipid level regulation. It also contains partially hydrolyzed guar gum, which suppresses the potent harmful bacteria, the mycolytic bacteria, which can, result in some kind of stomach aches also if it is thrown out of balance. It improves your bowel regularity and provides a gut barrier. It functions as a gut barrier so as to not, allow any kind of leakage in your gut. Also, again, like the first two, helps in benefit, providing, improving your blood glucose level and lipid level regulations. Essentially, if I have to put it down in point wise, How it improves your gut health? आपका gut microbiome का जो network है, it supports the good bacteria, it keeps the bad bacteria in check, which are your firmicutes and bacteroidetes and firmicutes, the good and the bad. It also helps in increasing your nutrient absorption. It also acts as a prebiotic, which is a food for the good bacteria in your gut. So जो अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं bacteria, they also need some food to perform at optimum levels. So fiber acts as a food for the good bacteria. It significantly lowers your cholesterol, your blood sugar levels. It lowers the inflammation in your body and also helps balance out your hormones. So, a lot of people, especially today, my own self at some point of time, I was facing hormonal imbalance and all. And this is one thing that will help settle all that in your body. Dietary fiber passes through the system, and it also, like I said earlier, it cleanses your body of the toxins. If you're starting today, you will be surprised at the amount of toxins that are there in your body, and you will see it happening over the next couple of days if you are on your gut reset, that how your body will tell you that the toxins are getting eliminated and the gut is getting cleaner day by day. You will see the results of that. The role of fiber, like we studied about carb, that how does it help in your maintaining your body clock? It helps regulate the next food time of food you're going to be having. So giving you a feeling of satiety, it ensures that you don't eat in between meals and you only eat when it's time to take your next meal. So it manages that time barrier, gives you satiety. Blood glucose, like complex carb, it helps maintain a good blood glucose level. All of this, they all have the same functions, giving you satiety, clearing your system, managing the sugar spike in the food that you're having, delaying emptying of your, gastric food so that you don't keep eating more frequently. Now, some of the very interesting food swaps, because people who know me, they know I'm a Punjabi kudi, they call me, and, parathas have always been my soul food. So there came a point in time where I realized that whatever I'm having today, the next 10-15 minutes, half an hour that I'm spending eating probably 2 aloo parathas, my body is going to pay a significant amount of price in processing, digesting, absorbing nutrients from that. It's a good idea to make an interesting swap of probably having a vegetable rich parantha, having a paneer parantha with your mint chutney or your coriander chutney, because the taste is as good as your aloo paranthas, which is extremely dense in simple carbs and very high in calories. Swap your breakfast cereals to a dalia porridge. You could have, ideally have, with a lot of vegetables and a namkeen dalia. That's very, very delicious and a full of, gives you a lot of satiety. Instead of a sweet dalia, a lot of people like in up north, that's what they do. Swap your white breads to your whole wheat bread. But if I can, just go to the point of telling you, if you can eliminate bread of any kind in your household, your recovery to a great health will be much, much faster, because it's a go-to food item in most of the households. It's a go-to snack item in most of the households, but the damage it causes is far more than those 5-10 minutes of the sweetness or the flavor that it gives to your mouth. Swap your vada pavs to your idli sambar, white rice to brown rice, ice creams to interesting yogurt recipes with a lot of seeds and fruits or whatever, whichever works for you. Your soft drinks to lemon water, coconut water, which is very good. You can resort to that. There are a lot of infused waters that people have resorted to these days, and they like having those with cucumber, mint, and lemon, etc. Please don't have fruit juices. Having fruit juice is the worst thing you can do for your body, because it is devoid of all the fiber. All you're having is simple sugar. Probably swap your fried chicken to a tandoori or a grilled roasted chicken or a roasted fish as much as possible. Pairing, your food pairing, like I said, even if you're having a slice of bread, if you're having probably a nice, healthy, rich vegetable sandwich, that will still be good for your body rather than bad. So, pairing of food is very, very important. If you're pairing your high GI foods with protein and fiber, what will happen is it will balance your blood sugar levels. It will delay the release of insulin, the sugar spike quickly, and give you satiety for longer. Use whole grains and legumes. Please add non-starchy vegetables. When I say non-starchy, so avoid potatoes and arbi, etc. Have more leafy vegetables. Use lower glycemic index alternates that you have. and opt for mindful cooking techniques. Don't overcook your food. uh, Al dente food, if you can cook, where the crunch is there. Use the right kind of cookware that, allows you to cook with minimal oil, save on your time, save on the oils, and also help you cook your food quickly. And most importantly, the way you cook your food, are you devoiding the nutrients the way you're cooking them, or are you ensuring that when you cook your food, especially your vegetables and your legumes, that the nutrient and the color is there when you actually consume? Overcooking also oftentimes destroys the nutrients of your food. So all you're having it is you're just probably having it for a good taste. How can you increase your fiber intake? Choose whole grains over refined grains, polished dal and stuff like that. Although it looks very tempting, I don't remember when was the last time, an urban household was actually sifting through the dal, taking out stones, etc. Because everything is so ultra processed that you just need to bring it home and cook it and eat it. So look at it like that, that you can have whole grains. Include a lot of fruits and vegetables in your daily diet. If you are in having fruit, have a single fruit. Don't mix your fruit other, because that will counter each other's absorption of nutrients. Snack on nuts, seeds, dry fruits, and popcorns. While we say snack on these, I would also like to say it's best to not to snack in between meals. Add beans and lentils and peas to your soups. Mushroom soup is very good. Salads and casseroles. Sprinkle some oat bran, flax seeds, sesame seeds on your yogurt and smoothies, because they add a lot of fiber, they add a lot of nutrition to your food items. And drink plenty of water. We have fabulous session on hydration and how you can calculate, depending upon your age and your daily lifestyle, how much daily water intake you need to have and how should you have that water. Do tune in for that particular session. And finally, yes, we always like to re-emphasize the shine. We want to bring back that shine in your life. We want you to shine in your life. We want that shine in your health, in your mental health, in your physical health. Please start your every single day with a lot of gratitude and optimism. There was something that I was reading the other day. It said, be thankful that you're stuck in a traffic jam on your way to office. That means you have a job, you have a car, and you're pretty much able to go to office every single day. Be thankful that you had a tire puncture, or you missed your flight. That means you could book a flight, you have the resources to travel, etc. Find reasons to be thankful and staying positive in your life. Have your daily nutrition. Feed your body with the right amount of nutrition. Feed your mind with the right amount of nutrition. Whom are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you consuming every single day? How many of us have started restricting themselves on doom scrolling? I mean, that's the new word with the digital age. Visualize and set clear instructions with respect to your personal health, mental health, professionally, where you want to go. If you know where you are going, you will reach there much faster. Learn something new every day. We are living in a world which is probably changing every single day. How much are you equipping yourself today so that you are prepared for the changes that are going to happen in the next couple of months? So stay abreast so that you stay relevant with what's happening around you. Because for you to, probably be laid back, you just don't need to do anything. Stay where you are, and the world will literally, march ahead of you very soon. And please, 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 please exercise daily. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you like, whatever you enjoy doing, could be badminton, could be pickleball. Everybody's going crazy about pickleball, could be golf, could be swimming, could be dancing, Zumba, etc. Whatever you enjoy doing, do it, because then you will continue to do it for much longer. And for those of you who probably like to see the difference and like to see and believe. This was my transformation through this program. And I cannot be thankful enough, because what this program has done has rewired my brain to tell me every single day. There are days that I cheat sometimes, but the very next morning, my wiring is such that I know what I need to do to take care of whatever I have done with my body in the last 24 hours and reset it in the next 3 to 4 days, so that the damage is minimalistic. We are living, we all want to live a happy and a good life. Enjoy your life also. But every day cannot be a party. Celebrate, reward yourself, but first work towards it, because then it'll be more worthwhile and more fulfilling for you. I hope for those of you who are new here, we've given you that little hope that you can get your health back on track, you can get your wellness back on track. Once you do it for yourself, inspire people around you and do it for them. And that's the biggest gift you can give anybody. The only statement I feel which is the most relevant in today's times and today's world is that health is wealth. There is nothing that is more important and that is more relevant than this particular statement. And with that, we'd like to call off for today's meeting. Ruchita has another meeting that she had to attend to. So you've been a great audience, and I hope to see you next Monday on the same platform with a different topic and a very, very interesting and inspiring speaker from our team. Till then, guys, stay safe, take care. Good night, everybody.